And to today's info session. My name is Adlina Mate. I'm the head of student affairs at Webster Ghana. And today we're going to talk a bit about Webster Ghana. Almost at the tail end of this presentation, however, I'll invite one of my students who's on the call, Christina Prismy, to share her experience. So let's just get right into it. So why study in Accra, Ghana? So Accra, Ghana is the largest city in Ghana. Accra, Ghana is the largest city in Accra, in Ghana, and in West Africa. And it has a varied appearance with a lot of modern, colonial, traditional African architecture. And also Ghana is known for creativity, it's the home of Afrobeats, amazing dances to Accra with various art spaces from the Artists Alliance, Gallery, Untamed Empire, Nibuki Foundation, and on and on. There are lots of art spaces in the city. Also, for Ghana has a long history of political stability and it has been one of the most welcoming places in the world. In 2019, we're in the top 19 places to visit from CNN's travel list. And also in 2020, we're also among Time's greatest places to visit. Accra is also a few hours away from the UNESCO World Heritage Site. That's the Elmina Slave Castles and the Cape Coast Slave Castles, and also the Kakum National Park, where there's a famous canopy walk and many other attractions. Ghana is also home to a lot of amazing dishes. If you love spicy food, it's a great location for you. But we also have mild options for anyone who likes it a little on the cooler side. So whatever your food options are, we do have something for you. So this is just a picture of one of our sites and a group that came to our campus in 2019, that's Africana students. In terms of Webster Ghana, we have majors in management, finance, computer science, international relations, media studies, psychology, and we also have the Africana Studies minor that was actually generated and created by our campus. Apart from these, we also have GCP courses. So even if you're not in these majors, you can always take some GCP courses and that would go towards your degree. In terms of our faculty, we have faculty from across the African continent and beyond. We're a small campus with a very diverse students. And so far we've had about 25 nationalities pass through our campus till present. Also with the academics, we always have site visits to prominent spaces that relate to your course. If you're in international relations, you might be going towards the Kwame Nkrumah Mausoleum, you might be going towards the Peacekeeping Training Center, you might go to NGOs, and we also always have guest lectures coming into the classrooms, and these are usually prominent Ghanaians or expats. In terms of practical applications, there's always out-of-class projects. Sometimes we have our simulation game in the IR department. We have seminars, public lectures that also invite people with varied knowledge on campus, and students are always invited to engage in these. We also have an on-site student success coach, and which offer writing and career support. In terms of our facilities, we have 2 on-campus housing facilities that offer single, double, triple, and quad rooms. And these are a few pictures. We actually have a virtual tour of the facilities at the end. I don't know if I'll get the opportunity to play, depending on how the presentation goes, we'll see. We also have our newly established Golok Hub with an on-site canteen, student lounge, Radio Webster Ghana space. So these are a few pictures of the inside and the outside of the hub, where we do have some students engaging. So these are some more recent pictures. So outside, we usually have our outdoor umbrellas. We have our table tennis, which comes out when it's not raining like today. And yes, there's always an opportunity for students to connect and still engage. And you can see that we're taking actually this term. So students are in their max obeying the protocols, but still being able to engage with each other on campus. In terms of student life, we have numerous chances for students to explore during their period. So in different times of the academic year, we have trips to the slave castles. We also have beach trips, overnight trips to Ashanti, Western, Volta, Northern region. We also have day trips to waterfalls, hiking sites, and riverboats, cruises. So in terms of if maybe during the period you're around, we're not offering any of these, you could always connect with the Student Affairs office and can help you arrange this on your own or guide you towards the way to get to all these locations. In terms of our special events, we have our annual awards night. We have our multicultural Thanksgiving that's this fall in November. We have our annual spring conference, city tours, we have Eco Week, Global Helpers Project, and the list goes on and on. We also have unique community service opportunities. So if you're interested in volunteering or doing some community service or engaging with some nonprofits, there are also opportunities for that. Now I'm going to hand over to Christina, and Christina will share her experience at the Ghana campus. Christina, can you kindly take over?
Hi, everyone. Thank you guys so much for having me speak today. So my name is Christina Fresmi, and I actually studied abroad in Webster, Ghana in 2019 for the summer. I spent 2 months here, so June and July, and I was just taking 2 regular courses, public speaking, I think, and introduction to philosophy as part of my study abroad experience while I was a student at FAMU. And basically fell in love with Ghana. I have the cliche fell in love with Ghana story, I like to say, because I decided to come back now for my master's in international relations 2 years later. So my experience while studying abroad was amazing. I had a very independent program, a very independent experience, I like to say also. So it's not like, you know, the typical study abroad where you get on a tour bus and they take you around the country and you have like matching t-shirts. This is very independent and it's very immersive and personable. My classmates were from different neighboring African countries, so it was very cool. My roommate was Liberian. I had classmates from Cameroon, Nigeria, all over Africa. So I thought that was very unique and authentic. I had a blast here in terms of my classes. So even classes were very personable. And I think that is a side of things I've never gotten to experience as well. I think the school I went to was just very fast paced. And here it was like no student left behind. If I went to the bathroom, my professors would like catch me up. They would stop the entire class just to catch me up on what was going on. So it's things like that that really made the difference for me in deciding to come back to Webster, Ghana. I did stay on campus as well, which was a great experience. I'm right next to the campus, so it's from walking distance, and getting to stay in the dorms aided in my personable experience as well. And just traveling around Ghana is really the best part of studying abroad here because there's so much to do and see just in Accra alone. And then there are the field trips that Atlanta mentioned that makes it even more immersive because you get to see like the Volta region and experience the different tribes of Ghana. So you get to see what life is like outside of the big city, Accra. And so, yes, I would highly recommend coming to Webster, Ghana. I think it's a great experience. And if anyone has any questions, I would love to chat in the chat box.
Thank you, Christina, for your testimonial, and thank you for sharing that also. So this is actually my tour. So Tyler, can I, or it's about a 5-minute tour. That's what I can do it.
Yes, please do it, Tyler.
Okay, sure. Let me play this.
Welcome to Webster University, Ghana. We are excited to have you on this virtual tour. Set in the beautiful East Legon neighborhood of Accra, our small private school campus is safe, secure, and encompasses modern facilities for the benefit of all students, faculty, and staff. Situated on the far east of the campus, the administration building is your first stop. Step into the Welcome Center on the first floor and be greeted by a warm receptionist who can help you with whatever you are visiting for. Within the same space is the admissions office, where you will be provided with all you need to know in your quest to apply and enroll as a student at Webster, Ghana. The executive floor on the second floor houses most of the university's upper management staff offices, and also has a conference room where smaller classes are held in the evenings. Graduate students can enjoy the kitchen facilities on this floor during their class breaks. At the very top of this building is our faculty apartment, a lovely and spacious residence complete with 3 ensuite bedrooms, a kitchen, a living room, a dining room, and a guest bathroom. Teaching staff who visit the Ghana campus from abroad enjoy this inviting suite that offers a nice, short 2-minute walk to class. The academics building is where you will spend a lot of your time as a student pursuing global citizenship and individual excellence. You will take classes in our state-of-the-art classrooms with a small number of other students from across Africa and the globe. Fully air-conditioned and always clean, our learning spaces are well lit and equipped with the necessary technologies to facilitate meaningful and effective higher education. Take advantage of Webster Success Center and get the support you need to reach your academic and professional goals. The center offers internships, tutoring, bilingual tutoring, one-on-one writing coaching, and other strategies for your success. Our library sits at the base of the academics building, a quiet haven where you are surrounded by books from every faculty. You have access to a helpful librarian to assist you in finding the materials you need to study. There are textbooks, journals, biographies, magazines, newspapers, and other publications to buttress the thousands of online ebooks and databases Webster students worldwide have at their fingertips. This space is also equipped with a premium computer lab that provides access to up-to-date digital resources and services. The Gorlok Hub is at the heart of our campus, a multifunctional student recreational center. This space serves as a cafeteria, a place to hang out between classes, a middle ground to catch up with friends while you watch news highlights on the TV screens, or a meetup spot for clubs planning for the semester. This edgy hub also houses Radio Webster, our student-run podcast-style radio station. Our on-campus residences are home to students from all over the world and offer a supportive, comfortable living and learning environment. You can choose to stay in a single, double, or quad room and enjoy utilities and services at no extra cost. All dormitories are fully equipped with high-speed internet, fitted kitchens, constant power supply, and around-the-clock security. And finally, our neighborhood of East Legon, one of Accra's most pleasant residential areas, just within a 10-minute drive from Kotoka International Airport. This college town offers students a variety of lifestyle attractions for convenience, with budget-friendly options for every taste. We hope you love our campus as much as we do. Apply now to join the World Classroom during our next admissions intake. See you soon!
Okay, so that was the virtual tour. But I just wanted to end with this nice picture of the beach in Coco Bite, that's a nearby town. And yes, thank you all for considering Webster Ghana, and I'm also available to answer any questions. Yeah, I'm done, Tyler.
Yeah, thank you, Adelina, and thank you, Christina, for sharing your experience as well. It's great to hear from a student who studied abroad and obviously had such a meaningful experience that you chose to go back and pursue your graduate degree there. And I will say you're not the only Webster student who's studied abroad and then chose as an undergrad and then chosen to go back and get your master's at the campus you studied abroad at. So that's a similar experience to what others have had while studying abroad. So if anybody does think of any questions later, even if you haven't thought of it now in middle of talking about Vienna, something pops into your head, we're still happy to answer questions. So feel free to continue to type questions in the chat if you think of anything. Otherwise, I'll let Serena get started.
All right. Hi, everybody. I hope you can see my screen, first of all, and hear me. Welcome. So my name is Serena, and I work at Webster Vienna as in the Student Resource Center, which is basically the place where students go when they have questions of any natures. And we are in charge of study abroad, both for incoming and outgoing, and for a lot of others activities and fun for students. So first of all, for the ones that don't know, Vienna is the capital city of Austria. It's in sort of like the middle of Europe, and it's voted one of the most livable cities in the world, according to a lot of research. It's a nice place to be, but it's also very international. In 2019, so right before the pandemic, about 48% of populations of Vienna were actually not Austrian, which means that, you know, one every other two people on the street is actually a foreigner. So it makes the city very different for what you will think about as city. Is very international. Everybody can speak English, and maybe not perfect, but everybody can understand English. So that makes it very easy for foreigners to actually settle here. It's also because we have a lot of international companies, main headquarters, but also UN offices and others, NGO that has bases here in Vienna, which makes it also a very nice destination for students that are interested in IR or public relations or a lot of other things. Honestly, it's a great place to be. Webster Vienna is, as you can see from these pictures, is actually in a one building. It's a huge, very nice buildings in the second district of the city, and it's very close to the city center. We have a very international community as university. It's a small campus, about 400 students, but from more than 78 countries. I think this year we might have reached almost 85 different countries. So that makes it even easier for you to find diversity on the campus. We have small classrooms, of course, because we are a small campus. Our students enjoy that because it gives you a one-on-one feelings with your professor. You get to know all your classmates. You get to know your teacher even better. And then, of course, we do field trips. We have guest lectures and anything else you could have expected as a university. We have a lot of services for students, mostly towards, for your academic career. We have the Language Center, which is also in charge of the German courses. So if anybody's interested in learning Germans, welcome to come to Vienna. So the Resource Center, which is represented by myself, we also have a very active student government associations and a couple of clubs, both on sport, but also others like psychology clubs. And we collaborate all together to make the non-academic life better. We have free counseling services organized by our psychology department, as well as you would expect, of course, a nice library with an amazing librarian who's very helpful. And if you ever need to do any type of research, he's the person you should ask questions about. And of course, our career services, which unfortunately it's mostly for people that plan to work in Europe or Austria, but they can also help you out if you want just, to talk about what your future is going to be like. Our curriculums are very similar to majority of Webster campuses. Of course, we have a lot of business classes, but we also have international relations, strategic communications, and psychologists for the bachelor's and graduate studies. We have, again, very focused on business with finance, marketing, and our MBA programs, but then international relations and our psychology with emphasis in counseling psychologists. And those are the students that actually provides several of the counseling services, as well as other workshops on wellness and stress management. And life in Vienna as a student. For study abroad students, we don't have a housing because Webster Vienna, as mentioned, is not that big of a campus, and we don't have our own housing, but we partners with the Student Hotel, which is a new dorm. It's one of the biggest dorms in Vienna. It counts for about over 500 rooms as locations, and is the place all our study abroad students live during the semesters in Vienna. That is it's a dorm where with a lot of diversity, a lot of students from other university in Vienna. It's a huge place where students can also get activities from them, enjoy workshops, or get to meet other students that are not related to Webster. So I had very good feedback from our students, both study abroad and regular students that live there. So I highly recommend that personally as well. As for external activities organized, as I mentioned earlier, either by the Student Resource Center or our SGA, here you can see a couple of pictures. Some of them are very recent from last week during our orientation week. We went to the Prater, which is the amusement park about, I don't know, a kilometer from the campus, which is about half a mile. And it's open all year round. It's you can see in the background, there is the very traditional fairy wheels of Vienna, and we finally got to actually enjoy ourselves a little more after this year of restrictions. And other pictures are from the past of our event, our Webster Got Talent, which is a event that we share with Leiden and Geneva. We have it annually in February. We will have the Webster Got Talent Vienna, and then the winners will go and compete against Leiden and Geneva. This year, the competition will actually be in Vienna. So we expect to host around in April. The winners from Geneva and Leiden, they will come to Vienna and compete against our winners. Yeah, so those were all my presentation. And if you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask.
Thank you, Serena. I did have a question come through privately that might apply to multiple students here or students watching the recording later. So somebody asked me about the application deadline and when students will know about whether they've been accepted to the study abroad programs or not. So for anyone who's applying right now, the application deadline for the spring of 2022, either the full semester or for spring 1 or spring 2, is September 30th. Every campus does it a little bit different if you're coming from a different Webster campus, but I can speak at least from here in St. Louis at the main campus. We kind of accept everyone right after the deadline. So probably October 1st, if not that following week, you'll hear from us about official acceptance. As far as scholarships, the scholarship deadline is the same as the application deadline, September 30th. So the scholarship review committee can't meet until October because they have to have all of the scholarship applications come in before they can review and award scholarships. So that normally comes a few weeks later on finding out what your if you've been awarded any study abroad scholarships. But that's a great question. Yeah. Christina, do you want to say something else?
Yes, thank you, Serena, for your presentation. I do have a few questions for you. The first one being, how would you say students mostly transport around the city and around Europe, like if they wanted to visit neighboring countries?
Well, the first things about Vienna that I was very excited when I moved here about 6 years ago now is public transportation. So traveling in Vienna is super easy. the whole city is connected. You have 24/7 transportations. You can go with the metro, with the tram, with the buses, and you pay 1 abo for all the transportation. So that makes life as a person, honestly, any citizens of Vienna is highly encouraged to use public transportation. Also, it's super cheap, regardless if you're a student or a person. It's like a regular employee. It's really not that expensive, and it's super clean, which doesn't happen everywhere. So not even in Europe. So that's, and then depending, like I wouldn't nowadays with the pandemic, I think traveling is really, I'm not saying hard, it's just, slightly overwhelming that you need to follow rules and regulations, and they are changing, and there's hundreds of new forms that you need to fill out all the times. But Vienna has an international airport, which is well connected with Europe or even internationally. It's right outside the city. It's about, I would say, from the city center, half an hour by train, not that far. And it's basically from there you can go everywhere. It takes a little more time now, but we just had, I was saying to Taylor earlier, we just started the semester yesterday, and we had the study abroad arrived on September 1st. After a year and a half that we hadn't seen any study abroad students, so very excited, everybody. And I think this was the first group that actually came from the airport with public transportation. So I think that was a major success that they figured that out by themselves on the first day in a foreign country. They made it from the airports to the dorms with public transportation. So.
Okay, thank you. And then my second question, I have three. My second question is, if you don't want to live in the student hotel, do study abroad students have the option to find their own housing?
Well, it's a little more complicated because Tyler, correct me if I'm wrong, but there is a request that you have to make, and the request is actually evaluated anyway by the Office of Study Abroad in St. Louis, and you need to motivate it why you don't want to stay there. So there are exceptions. For instance, we had a study abroad in the past that had some relatives here in Vienna. So of course he was like, well, I would like to stay with my relatives instead of a dorm. So those are the type of exceptions that we generally see, at least in Vienna. But then of course it has, like, I'm not the ones making the decision. So I can tell you what the process is, but it generally has to be motivated, but it's possible for any destination to say, I will prefer not to be in the housing for this and this reason. It can be about disability. Sometimes it can be about families living in the city you're visiting, or any other reason that you feel like it will be strong enough to grant you permissions to not live in the campus provided housing.
Okay, and then my third is, what would you say are some of the most famous landmarks of Vienna, and what Vienna is known for?
Oh, well, Vienna is known for a lot of things, and depends who you ask, because, for instance, has a very strong LGBT community. So if you ask people that are into the LGBT community, they will say it's known for the LGBT community. There are very interesting bars and locations in Vienna. They also have special events all year around. If you ask somebody else, they will tell you Vienna is famous for this mix of religions. We have a very large Jewish community in Vienna, but also Islamic. There's, of course, Catholic. And then you can go for the musicians. So you have people that enjoy Vienna because of music, and we have the opera and the theaters and musicals and basically anything you can think music related. And then you can ask people that enjoy museums and they will come here for the art. So it's really, I think you can find something that you like. There are people that love Vienna for natures. It's one of the greenest capitals I think in the world, honestly. We have park basically everywhere. The Prater is the biggest park. I think it's bigger than Central Park even. Don't quote me on that though. I need to check on that. But is like we have hiking trails. We have vineyard in Vienna. Vienna is the only capitals in Europe that actually produce wine, and its own wine. So I think anybody can find something that they like in Vienna. If you like books, I would say go to the National Library just also to see it, because it's inside the Hofburg Palace, which used to be the winter residence of the Hofburg. If you like museums, or if you like my cousin, she loves Sissi, who was the queen, the Empress Elizabeth. And then I would definitely suggest you to take a walk at the Schönbrunn Park and go to the zoo. We have panda at the zoo. So sorry, I'm just bragging now about all the things you can do in Vienna. But I would say that there's no, like, of course, the landmark will be, the Stephansdom and the Schönbrunn Palace. Those are the things that people need to see in Vienna. But I really think everybody can have their own experience based on what they like, and they will be able to find something to relate to.
Thanks. Anybody else has any questions? Yeah, and if you think of any questions later, I will put my email here in the chat, and anybody can, if you think of a question as soon as we close out the meeting, feel free to send me an email. But I'll go ahead and stop the recording now.